Now, from the video that you've taken and the close-up encounters that you've had with the creature, what does it actually look like?
Well, Dan, what it looks like is if you can imagine a telephone pole that's rubbery. Well, the front part of the animal is a long black neck like that, and when it reaches the middle, it starts to thicken out, and the color changes from black to a bright yellow-green. It seems to have a black top, and then the green spreads around the midsection, and that's about another 20, 30 yards, 20, 30 feet long. And then it tapers into a thick tail and also a black tail. And we believe that it has a double fluke tail. With a rounded fluke tail, we have had some images that we've had it analyzed that seem to show that the tail is rounded, but very paddle-like. But the whole animal is probably over 100 feet long.
Wow, 100 feet, that's pretty long.
Yeah, very long.
So did you get a close look at its fins or flippers and its head?
Well, I got a good look at the fins. I saw the head on several sightings from about 30 yards away, but the first sighting I had was the best sighting, and it was amazing because it actually beached in front of us only about 20 yards away, and in the process it rolled over, and as it unrolled, these flipper-like fins unfolded like a fan, and each one of them had so much cartilage in between, like spikes, and it had a serrated edge, and in between each spike was a webbing. It wasn't a flipper for propulsion, and as it rolled over and dropped into the water, it seemed to spread these out like a stabilizing fashion until it could reorientate itself, and then it slowly moved off the rocks. I did see the head one time looking directly at me, and it looked like a double-barreled shotgun looking right at me. It had these big black nostrils that were just amazing, and it stood up for a second and then dropped down. So I did get to see the head directly looking at me one time.
So we'll have a look at your video now. Maybe you can talk us through it and tell us what we're seeing.
Okay, in the beginning here, you're going to see all these black marks right there breaking the surface. Now that's way over. Now see that white rock there? Remember I told you to go there so you have an idea of the size of what you're looking at. And here you're going to see another serpent-like animal come from the left, create some vertical undulations, and this is like a tail here flipping out. Now we think there may be 2 or 3 of them coming at the same time, and there I took a photograph which shows you a lot of stuff that's going on. And I pulled back here a little bit to give you some perspective on the island, and then I noticed this animal going along the shore here, and he's doing all sorts of twists and turns in the front. I'm shaking a little bit, but it's still coming out okay. And now they're moving against the tide here, and here I zero in on, we're not sure whether this is 1 or 2 animals, and that could be the tail area here, but we think this could be 2 out. And there's a splash there. You can see this all here is all the front neck area, and this is all one animal. I started concentrating there. Watch there. See, it does that loop, and it does that rollover. And if you notice on the left there's another one doing the same thing. Then he goes down, and his head pops up right in the middle, and then he starts going in the other direction. Here I'm readjusting myself. My arm got tired. And then now I'm going to focus in on another animal. I zoom in on now. He's going to be swimming to the left here. And he's going to be moving to the left there. and I zoomed in on the front part of him. But this is all one animal. Here you can see some breakage to the right over here. And now this is see the beach in the background? You remember you guys were over there. This appears to be one animal swimming in front of another animal that's moving a little slower. They're both actually going towards the left, heading out towards the end of the island. And this one in front just seems to pull away from the other one. And this one, he just kept doing strange stuff there. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. Now I'm following this animal. And there's two others to the left. You can see some breakage over here. Now that's the old bell tower there. That's 30 feet wide there. That used to be they had a fog bell there to let people know. Now so he's close over there. Now this is going towards the end of the point, and these two animals are swimming in the direction of the end of the point. And you'll notice they actually seem to go right up on the shore right there and then come back down into the water for a second. That's pretty close to where you were. And then this one, he lifts his head up and neck up at least 15 feet out of the water and crashes back into the water and straightens himself out. And this is where my battery died.
Wow.
Amazing, huh? And then here, if you look closely, you'll check that on closely. It appears that there might be something breaks the surface there again, because that was a couple of seconds. Then here we're going through it again. Now this one, you watch this animal on the right come in here, and then they sort of converge with each other. And there's all this back here. See, he kind of does a thing, and then they move together. And there's this all back going on here.
You don't think it could be something as simple as, say, a flock of birds all flying in a line together, then coming up and all diving into the water at once?
No, I don't. We thought that was the first thing, that was the possibility, but when we examine it, if we've seen birds from that distance, and they will eventually come up off of the air, and there's no way that a flock of birds could make that turn at that speed and follow themselves and all dive down into the water together. Plus, we've analyzed it. There's the breakage there, and we've analyzed it that these things are all moving at the same time. It's not like they're following each other or going up and down. And there's the turn, and this turn here, the fact that there's two of them making the exact same turn, or what appears to be two of them, or could be a single animal doing that same movement, would be impossible for a flock of birds to do. And actually, when you look at this on a still frame, you can see the connection between the front of them, even though, because some parts are slightly above the water, some are just below the water, so you can see the shading in there when you freeze frame it and look at it closely. This is the one that we this is the one that was over in the beach area, and he was splashing over there, just moving up and down, and this one's pulling across in front of him, because some of these are just below the surface, like the darker portions are above, and some of the what looks shaded is actually slightly below the surface. And we've done the analysis on this portion where the last shot where it lifts up out of the water, and we think could be as high as 15, 20, 25 feet, because this is 30 feet. That's the old bell tower there. And when you'll see your boat in the same spot, so you get an idea of the size comparison. But I wish we could freeze frame it here for a second and enlarge it, because as it gets close to the shore, right about here, there, it goes up on the thing, and then the other one goes up, and this one comes back down. And then this is where it does weird stuff. It lifts up out of the water and then goes back down under. And then it kind of was stretching itself out at that time, and unfortunately my battery went dead, but we got the shot of the boat, so we can use it as a comparison right there.